All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
Another game, another opponent's hat. Welcome on in, NorCal Sports Network, where we wear the winning team's hat, except the Dodgers. So we just won't go there. But the Giants lose it tonight this is just an ugly, awful team, guys. 4-1, no heart, no life. Team's dead. They're now 59-60. This is a crappy team. This is a crappy baseball team that can't score runs. And what can you say? But first, let us thank our sponsor of the show, Chapman Law Group. As always, Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give them a call at 415-613-9483. Chapman Law Group, for all your legal needs. You got a personal injury situation, give Chapman Law Group a call. Let them handle it for you. The call's free. The consultation's free. Don't settle with an insurance company's offer before giving Chapman Law Group a call. You're going to need them one day, so keep their number. All right, let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. Lou, I pretty much got to start the Giants with this. One more time. Okay, Lou. What do you say? What do you say, Lou?
Well, the one thing about consistent is the Giants have 3 minor leaguers in the bottom of their lineup, and the Padres didn't. If you notice, and I know we'll talk more about Webb, Melvin, again, doesn't know how to work the pitching staff. I'll keep saying that. Melvin was lucky he only gave up 4. Webb only gave up 4 runs. He was in trouble basically from the 3rd inning on. And the one thing about the Giants being consistent, another 10 strikeouts. It's pretty hard when you strike out 15 times one day, and then you come back and you only strike out 10. At least you're improving a little bit. But this team is dead. It's going to get worse before it gets better because, as you saw, Devers got the long ball. And, Dan, you said it probably a week after we got him. If this lineup doesn't step up, they're going to start pitching around him, and that's what teams are going to do. They know all they have to do is get past Devers because Adames and Chapman can't come through. And you know it's bad when the announcers – I think it was the 7th and the 9th, when Adames flew out to medium deep center field. Those at-bats, those were loud at-bats. What do you mean loud at-bats? Loud at-bats, my ass. You know, it's like, come on. The ball didn't. A loud at-bat.
Just Meredith on the show. Loud
and the other thing, that 8th inning showed the difference between the Padres and the Giants. Giants batters didn't have a chance. You know, when you get a good reliever, which the Giants haven't had, that's something Duvall never had, even though some of you knuckleheads thought he was great before we got rid of him. Just dominant relief pitching. This team is going places.
This dude comes at me at Twitter, blocked me on Twitter, and talking smack at me on Twitter. Asif, you can't come at me and then block me and then expect to come on my show. And look, I was going to respond to you. I saw your comment tonight, and then I went to respond, and I couldn't respond to you. And now you're coming on here, and you know what, Asif? You're going to have to find a new name because I am going to send you packing for good. Unless you want to come back in, I'll give you 5 minutes to come in and get a little. Said you blocked me. I went to respond. Said I'm blocked. Said you didn't block me. I couldn't even respond to your comment. I don't know. So since you blocked me, I blocked you so you couldn't read my tweets anymore. But if you want to play, a little bit of straight ball with me, I'll play straight ball with you. But if you're going to throw, crazy stuff, I'm not going to put up with it. I don't need it in my life. I don't need trolls that are. I'll give you a little grace for 5 minutes and come back in and see if you want to play straight. All right. So
how can he get upset at you over somebody that didn't play tonight?
Because I'm talking about Casey Schmidt. He doesn't like Casey Schmidt, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they ride you pretty bad about Casey. It doesn't matter if he does good or bad.
Well, yeah. Look, a lot of fair weather fans that come at me on guys. Look, Melvin.
Go ahead.
Melvin's found a way to make Casey the guy that steps out of the game on his team. It's because they got Chapman with the big fat contract and he can't hit. And, so instead of giving Chapman a day off and putting Schmidt over at third, they continually, this is about the third time in the last 10, 12 ball games that they've sat Schmidt for costs.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it's a joke because Casey's proven himself that he's probably, if you ask me, you look at the lineup, Casey's top 4 hitter in the lineup. You could go Devers, Ramos, I guess if Smith's in there, he's in there. Smith or Lee and Schmidt. Schmidt's hitting better than Adames, better than Chapman, way better. Bailey. Wait till we get into Bailey tonight. My goodness, 3 strike threes called that are like, and 2 of them were like right there.
Right down the pipe.
The last one was on the edge. The others were
3-2 pitches right over the plate.
Come on,
and Dan, that was the one thing. We all give Buster the thing. The guy who hit the big blow for San Diego, they got at the trade deadline another catcher. Okay, what does he do? He went deep against us. That's what you do on the trade deadline. For some reason, Buster, they love Chapman. Okay, they loved Yaz. They finally decided, hey, let's get rid of him. And they love Bailey. When we knew Bailey was a problem.
Yeah.
So
2 runs in the last 3 games at home. They've lost 11 of 12 now at home. They're 500 at home. We welcome in Dallas to the show. Welcome, Dallas.
Hello.
Man, that was just disgraceful.
Yeah, that was a good one. Rafi Devers tonight. Little video of him. I could show you a little video of him right here, guys. I don't know if this is an issue with. I'll turn the sound down, but hold on. Let me just.
Yeah, I think he hurt himself in his last at bat.
Let me see if I can get this. Okay, against look at this. It looks like he's. I bet you that back. It's the cold weather, guys. He doesn't look. Oh, see, he's holding it back. He doesn't run out things.
Tried to hit it back in place. It was on the swing. He tries to swing too hard.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. At some point, this team doesn't know how to quit. They will fight till the end. Yeah, they'll fight to the end. All right. I put a tweet out tonight on Twitter that I'm not sure what's better I was torn between watching the Giants and turning it over to the brand new channel, the Painting Channel. They were running a special tonight called Watching the Paint Dry. And I was perplexed, torn. Do I watching the paint dry, or do I watch the Giants' inept offense? And, it was a tough one. How many days?
They had a really nice taupe color, and it had been sprayed on about an hour previously, and it was just starting to dry. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And the Giants give the home fans what they're looking for, another 10 Ks, making it 25 in 2 games. 1 run on a Rafi Devers home run and 10 more Ks. Let's see, 2 for Ramos, 1 for Adames, 1 for Lee. Hey, wait, Chapman didn't strike out? Amazing. 3 for Bailey, 2 for Koss. Hey, let's get Christian Koss in there for Casey. That's good. Good. Look, Koss isn't the issue. Look, what I have a problem with the whole Koss thing, play him now and then, but he's not an everyday player. He's a utility guy. You're trying to – the Giants, I don't know what the heck their problem is. If they can't see that Casey is a better hitter than Chapman, go ahead, keep Chapman next year. Go ahead, guys. Keep Chapman, keep Bailey, bring them back, guaranteed 500 or worse team next year. You cannot win baseball games with Patrick Bailey and Matt Chapman in your lineup. Those are like, you've heard of autocorrect on your phone. Those are auto outs for the most part. And they're rally killers, and they don't – I mean – why is Bailey on the second called strike 3, like looking at the ump like he's dude, you guys want to see where the pitch was on that? Let me show you where the pitch was. Here it is right here. Look at that. Look at that. And he's like questioning the dude. Dude, you're a catcher. You got to know the strike zone. Look at this. Oh, where was that pitch? I walked, throwing the bat away.
It's right over. It's in the square. It wasn't even on the borderline. It was in the square.
It's like the whole ball's in the square. Dude, you got to protect. I don't get it. And I'm not glorifying Casey Schmidt, guys. I'm just saying look, the Giants got to figure a direction. Do they want Schmidt in the lineup going forward or not? Because you don't play a guy that is still trying to learn major league pitching, and you just to make him the guy that comes out of the lineup. I get it, once every 10 games, that's fine. You got to put Koss in there, but use some ingenuity, Melvin. Put Koss at shortstop a game. Put Koss at second base. Give everybody a day off. Give Chapman it's not like Chapman and Adames are knocking the door down, beating it down and saying, try to stop us. Okay.
Well, you don't think Chapman could use a day off? I mean, he's hitting 191 in the last month.
Absolutely. He needs a day off. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about when I say manage. Every manager does that. Gives guys that are struggling a day off. Wait a minute. Is this a troll? Do we have another troll? Hey, NorCal dudes. Chapman, a top Giant. Wait a minute. You might just get ejected for stupidity here. I'm going to start ejecting stupid comments, okay, from my show, because I have a highly intelligent chat. And that's the same dude. Okay, Hey, guess what?
The guy from yesterday.
Yeah, you're gone. Stupid comments do not belong, and stupid people don't belong on NorCal Sports Network. Goodbye. Done.
Top 8 Giant of all time?
Yeah, he's an idiot. He's just a troll. He's a troll. Okay.
I don't even think he's the top 8 Giant on this team.
No, exactly. There's 26 on the roster. He's not even in the top 8. So go make another one and come back tomorrow. I love how you have to spend some time making a new YouTube name. If you got that much time to waste, I'm going to keep ejecting you, man. Because you know what? It kind of makes me feel good to just send clowns like you on their way. Okay? Look, when I had 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers, we could take it. But we're over 5,200 and we keep adding. And I don't have time for clowns like you. Okay? All right. There we go. Yeah, this is guys, stars of the game. Let's get to that. If we can find 3. Can we find 3 stars of the game? Oh, wait, before we get on the stars of the game, I know some people are not going to like this, maybe even Dallas. Look, Webb pitched great, but he constantly, when a team gives him either the lead or ties it up, he coughs it up the next half inning. I've seen it multiple times last year, this year. Look, if you want to carry the badge of an ace and the team actually puts you back in the game, go shut them down the next half inning. Don't give up 3 runs. And you gave up a stinking home run to some varmint. Freddie, I call him Freddie Furman or whatever his name. He's a varmint, okay? You can't give up home runs and get clocked by 3 straight hits or whatever it was. It was like bang, 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 and it's 4-1.
7, 8, 9 batters. Back to back.
7, 8, 9. And you know what? I'll give him credit for pitching really good for the whole game, but you got to bear down when you get into the 7th inning and it's 1-1. You can't in the bottom of the order. You can't. If you're tired, tell the manager, Mel, hey, I think I'm gassed before you head out there and say, I don't think I've got enough. Don't try and be the strong man. And hey, the guy came back again. Might have to send him packing again. He's in love with himself. He keeps putting his picture on there, which is good. All right. Give us your 3 stars. I'll let you 2 guys go. I'll take it last because it might take me 10 minutes to figure one of them.
All right,
go ahead.
Go for it.
I'm going to give it to Ryan Walker because somehow he got 2 outs and only 5 hits.
Oh, did he pitch? I must have turned it over to the paint show when he was in there. I forgot he was in there.
He pitched 5 pitches, 4 strikes, got 2 outs. So he's gonna be my number 1 star. My number 2.
Wait a minute. He pitched 5 pitches and got 2 outs
and 4 strikes. Yeah, and 2 outs.
Wow. Well, that's hey man, I'd sign him up to a long-term contract right now.
My number 2 star. I guess, I'm going to give it to Gilbert, even though it was a bloop. He finally got off the snize.
Told you he'd get his first hit tonight against Hugh Darvish.
But it was a bloop. And that's what's sort of pathetic about this offense is his was a bloop, and then Devers hit the homer, and the rest were 3 quiet singles. So
Chapman hit one pretty hard, but it went off the leg of Darvish.
It was an infield hit. So
when Gilbert was on base, though, it was a little exciting. Like he brought some excitement to the game, at least.
Well,
should have dove head first.
You're doing 9 innings to get something, and then I'm going to do my number 1 star. My number one, sorry. So number 3 star, let me repeat it. So number 3 star was Walker because I thought he accomplished it really well. Number 2 star was Gilbert, but the number 1 star of the game, I'm going to have to give to a Padre, was Muriel. 3 for 4, got big hits, big key single. So, it was one of those things where, sometimes when the Giants are not doing well, you try to think outside the box. And I think a Padre probably deserved the number 1 star of the game since they won. So, I'm going to give it to him. So it's one of those things.
There you go. All right.
Jackson, former rookie of the year, came up tonight big, 3 for 4, got a big hit too when it counted.
All right, go ahead, Dallas. Give us your 3 stars.
All right. Well, number 1 star has got to be Devers. Got the big home run, tied up the game, gave me a glimmer of hope for about 4 minutes, I think it was, before it all went bye-bye. But at least, it was tied, so
4 minutes of glory.
Big. I had 4 minutes of hope, and then, oh well. But yeah, that was good. Good to see him hitting consistent home runs at home, and he can get used to doing that, and that'll be fine with me. Number 2, let's go with Dominic Smith. He had a hit, extended his hitting streak, but he also had really quality at bats. He went 9 pitches, 1 at bat, 10 pitches the next at bat, or the last at bat, and he's one guy on the team that gives you a professional at bat. He makes the other pitcher work.
Good call. I like that.
You have to fight to get him out, and boy, a lot of people on this team could learn from him if they just
look at his approach there in the 9th inning. He was just trying to get the bat on the ball. He was not going to go down with a strikeout.
And in that situation, they don't need a home run. It's not going to help them. They need to get people on base. So you have to change your approach. Try to get on base. Try to work a walk. Try to get a single. Just figure out a way on base. It didn't happen, but he sure tried. So I'll give him a star for that. And then last star, I'm going to give it to Webb. Yeah, he blew it at the end, but for 6 innings, he kept it close. If Webb wasn't pitching, it would have been 10-2, and I would have gone to bed early tonight.
There we go.
Okay. He blew it at the end, but he kept the Giants in the game at least. All
right.
Webb is not the problem.
Good picks. All right. I am going to go backwards to the front. My number 3 star is Gilbert. He got his first hit. He stole second and then tried to get to third on the throw into the outfield. Probably got a little winded, but should have probably just dove head first and would have been safe. But because he slid feet first, his noggin was right at the where the tag was coming.
Yeah, at third when you try to take the extra base.
right in the face, man. That's a tough way to make an out at third base. So Gilbert for getting his first hit,
and his first stolen base.
Yeah,
because he got the first one, then he tried.
And you know what? He was hustling. Good for him. So number 2 star on the night, I am going to go with. I guess you got to go with Devers too. He hit the home run. He's the only guy that put up a fight tonight with the bat. He went the long ball, didn't strike out. He's only hitting 256, but he did put it to the deepest part of the left side, left center field deep over the, over the 395, 99, whatever the heck that was, 399 out there. So nice poke. And little surprising on my number 1 star tonight, but I am going to throw you guys a little curve because I'm all for consistency, and anybody that can take 3 called strikes and his 3 at bats, you're my number 1 star. Patrick Bailey for taking 3 called strike threes leaving the bat on his shoulder. Patrick Bailey, number one star, a very consistent night, pulls off the incredible feat of a hat trick with 3 called strike threes. I mean, can you have a better night than that? I mean, come on. Come on. Are you serious?
Defies explanation. I mean, come on.
And Dan, they had 31,000 tonight, and I heard
there wasn't 31,000 in there. There was 3,100 in there, man.
Also, again, they were upset taking off jerseys yesterday. Melvin, doesn't know what he's doing. The Giants don't know what they're doing. But tonight, if you heard the game, I heard "Let's go Padres," not "Let's go Giants." I heard "Let's go Padres" the whole 8th inning and the 9th. So it's there's a problem where the fans are finally realizing this team's not good. Melvin doesn't know what he's doing. He again kept the pitcher in a little too long. And this lineup, just look at, tonight the Padres 7, 8, 9 dominated the Giants. Art 7, 8, 9. Gilbert, he got the stolen base. He got the blue pit. But again, his outfield, he was falling all over the place. I don't know if the guy needs new cleats or what in the outfield, but he had another problem in right field where he's falling down trying to get a ball. It seemed like he got a lot of action tonight. That's why I sort of realized it. But, Bailey 0 for 3, Koss 0 for 3, Gilbert 1 for 3. That's why the Giants are below 500, and that's why the Padres are right on the Dodgers' heels. Right on the Dodgers' heels.
Gilbert is overmatched.
He's overmatched.
Fun to see him, but he's not the guy. It's not going to work.
It's a little early. He is overmatched. They're rushing him, but I mean, at this point, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean,
but Dan, in his 3 weeks, what was he batting in AAA again before they called him up? 364. Yeah. So before we get all crazy about Eldridge, why don't you guys realize we get all these guys that bat 300, 360 in minor leagues. When they come to the pros, it's a different game. Okay. So I just want to let you guys know that. I want to bring that up. This guy was killing the ball, but we've had numerous guys bat 400, 390, AAA. Our great designated hitter was batting 410. Now he comes here. Everything changes. These are the best of the best. These are top guns, and it's just a lot different. It's completely different between AAA and the majors. And, you're seeing it. When Miller came in, did you really think Gilbert even had a chance? He tried to swing at that slider. He didn't even know what the hell he was swinging at. He only missed by 4 feet. It was like wiffle ball. But that's just how it is. So, But, hey, this is something where I think tomorrow with the Ray pitching, it's a must-win. Or
it's a must-win. The must-wins are out the door.
Well, I'm just saying. Because you have Ray. I mean,
this ship has sailed.
Well, I know that. I'm just trying to bring up a good point. But you got Ray going tomorrow.
I must win.
I'm running out of good points.
Yeah. Hey, at this point, I've got tickets to go to San Diego next week.
I know. I'll be with you. Thanks.
Lou and I will be together, and then we're together the week later up in Lou's seats up in San Francisco against the Cubs. I think I'll bring my Padres and Cubs hats to the game. At least I'll feel like I'm partly a winner inside. Jeez. This is brutal.
But how many games back are they?
Who cares?
Right, but if they win tomorrow and they win the next game and then they win the next 3, how far back could they be? Just trying to.
They're not sweeping Tampa.
Probably not. They're probably not winning any of these games.
I don't think they're gonna.
But you've lost 11 of the last 12 at home. How do you even do that?
I mean, what do they got left on this? 5 games on this homestand? They're 1-3.
5 games.
they'll be lucky to win 2 of them. They'll probably win 2 and go 2-3, and they'll probably go 3-6 on the homestand. They'll win 1 against San Diego, and they'll win 1 against Tampa. Look,
Dan, I got a question. If they go 5 games below, between 5 and 10 for the season, is Melvin gone?
I would think so. I mean,
does Buster have enough? Again, we got to start, criticizing.
Well, I mean, at some point, you've got to look at this and go, if we run this back, are we going to also run the moniker "nothing like it" again for the 4th year in a row?
4th year in a row, of course.
I mean,
nothing else.
It's just like, why would you run this team back? Since
unless there's some sort of miraculous recovery where they make it interesting, Melvin has got to be gone, because we can't do this again next year.
You can't.
You can't make it halfway through next year and it's a lost season, and then you make the move. You might as well do it now.
They're 9 games under 500 in their last 103 games. Everybody, 9 under.
Yeah, but Dan, you got to remember, since 2015, they've only had 1 winning season. They're trying to make it consistent. Second half of the season, this team drops. I don't know if it's the nutrition, if it's the coaches, because it always seems like 2 guys have a hamstring problem. We had the same problem last year. The problem with the fans, the chat, and the Giants people is they say, oh, look who's on the schedule. Well, don't you think the other teams are saying, God, we get to play the Giants? Thank God we get to play the Giants, because this team can't hit.
Hey, for you guys out there who are still waiting, who have asked for Larry, ask and you receive. I've got Larry who will be jumping in here soon. So if you guys want the comedy hour with Larry Krueger and the Giants, stay tuned. You're gonna have a little fun, because nobody can throw the barbs at the Giants like Larry. So
should I leave since I'm going to be taking over? I used to be ranked number 1 on this show for negativity, but Larry, no. Larry's my buddy. It'd be great to have Larry on the show. And the thing about me and Larry, and I know Dan and Dallas are different, we suffered going to 60 games a year at the stick, taking Muni. We know what it is, and that's one of the reasons why I sort of speak my mind. Beside a season ticket holder, I'm a true fan. And I've said it for one of these times. It was the only time I've ever been with grown buddies when the Giants won in 2010, because I thought I'd never, ever see it. I was at Dodger Stadium when, unfortunately, we couldn't get the big win to go back for a 1-game playoff at the stick on Tuesday night against Atlanta. I've suffered. I was down at Anaheim when you guys who all love Dusty Baker as the greatest manager made probably the biggest bonehead move ever as a manager, taking Russ Ortiz out with 81 pitches. And what happened? The goddamn rally mucky came. So me and Larry have suffered a lot. Yeah, we got our 3 championships, but we want more. And I think, it's going to be good to be on the show. But, I just sort of want to say that's sort of why I speak my mind. It's one of these things where it's frustrating, guys. I mean, look at me and Dan are going down to San Diego next week to see the Giants. A month ago when we made plans, we were all excited. Look what we're going to see. At least we're going to be in a rocking ballpark, beautiful women. We're probably going to bet the Padres because, the Giants don't have a chance. And then at least we get to go to Del Mar after and have good food. So at least there's something to look forward to. And when Dan comes to go to the Cubs game with me, at least he's sitting in the front row. So it's not all that bad. At least
we'll have a few Giants fans invading Petco.
Yeah. And again, you guys, because we're down there, you guys are going to get a day off with no show. So it gets pretty good. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Hey, we forgot Joey Lucchese here. All right. We're going to bring in the comedian himself. Mr. Pig in a Pickle was about ready to join us here. And we welcome him to the stage, the great one, Larry Krueger. We've got the crowd clapping. And take a look at that graphic there, Larry. Giants in their last 103, 47 and 56. As I asked Ned Coletti when they were about maybe at 90 games, I said, is this just a rough patch, or is after 90 games, is this who they are? And he says, I think that's after 90 games, you kind of look at that's who you are. And the Giants have not let up as they continue to go downhill. But Larry, give us your take tonight. I turned the channel and turned it over to the new paint show. There's a new painting channel. They had a special on watching paint dry, and it sounded a little more exciting to me than what I was watching, so I couldn't stomach it. I even became a member of the painting channel. I sat there and watched paint dry for 15 minutes.
Well, I'd say thanks for having me, but does it really take 4 people to talk about one run? I mean, do we have 4? I mean, seriously, who's going to talk about the fucking run tonight? And then who would like to talk about, oh, he took the run. I mean, it's like a rap. It's like a pathetic rap. It's like, oh, you took my guy. The only run. Who's your player of the game? I'll take Devers. Everybody else was dead. I mean, my God. I mean, this thing is just so brutal. I like Bob Melvin. Bye, Bob. Bye, Bob. It's not. You can't bring Bob back. I don't know where. I don't know how you guys. I don't know if you guys are on the record on this or off the record or what your stance is, but you can't. You couldn't bring back Kapler at the end, and you can't. I know he exercised the option and this and that, but that was a 2025 thing to try to give him more juice, more credibility. Now you can't bring him back, and you can't go to Hallberg. Sorry, Hallberg ain't going to cut it. And
yeah, let's not go to Buster's old college buddy. Let's.
No.
I put out a tweet yesterday, Larry. I think the Giants should pounce on Yadier Molina. He's going to be the WBC manager for Puerto Rico. Elliot Ramos, your young stud, is from Puerto Rico. Rafael Devers from the Dominican. He could help them in the communication. He's going to be a fireballer. He's not going to put up with any bull crap. This team would be tough-nosed. It will take on his personality. And I'm sick and tired of the Giants trying to invigorate somebody that was part of the championship era or had a nostalgia from the 80s of the Giants. Just go out and get somebody else's success. Yadier Molina was a stud. He's a world champion. He's a Gold Glover. He's not going to take any crap. Go pay that guy. You got a relationship with him. You played ball with him in the same era. You took his brother's job, Benji. Go make a connection with Benji and get Yadier before the Cardinals decide to fire Marmalade or whatever his name is, the manager, and Yadi becomes, Yadi's maybe 2-3 years away. You give him a shot now, he might take it, especially if you give him a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option.
All right. I mean, it's not a horrible idea. But I'm not ready to say goodbye to all of Giants history. I mean, what do you think of trying to get Vogt to, pay Vogt to leave Cleveland? Or what do you think of, I'm not saying it because I just saw it in the chat. I was actually going to say it, and then somebody in the chat just jumped in. But I've heard rumblings of Vogie, and I'm a big Vogie guy. I don't like managers that are
or Vogelsong you're talking about, or Vogt?
Yeah, Vogelsong
as manager or pitching coach.
Well, as the man, I've heard him rumored as the manager, but I don't love pitchers as managers. But one of my favorite managers in Giants history was Roger Craig. If you had Vogelsong with a major league manager, in the dugout, somebody who'd done it, a Matheny, and just somebody, I'm not saying he's got to have, somebody great, but just somebody who's done the job with Vogelsong, I think that might be good. They need to have somebody who's a little bit more fire, a little bit more juice, a little bit more, I mean, they're just dead. I don't like the way this team. I mean, I like Bob Melvin more than I like Gabe Kapler, but I don't like the brand of baseball the Giants have played under Bob Melvin. The biggest ringing indictment of Bob Melvin that I think I've heard was Baggs, who didn't even realize he was indicting the guy. He went on KMBR on the 28th of July and said that the Giants had 2 attempted steals in the month of July. 2 attempted steals. 2. Come on, man. Attempted steals? 2? I mean, that's just, you're done, Bo Mel. Go retire. Go whatever. You made a lot of money playing. You made a lot of money managing. Go find your grandchildren. Go do something else. Get out of here. We need something new. No more. Bo Mel in 2026 is uninspiring. We need something that's more fiery, more. Now, I realize Vogie's got no experience, none. But you know what? Dan Campbell had no experience either. And he's done pretty good with the Detroit Lions. And I see a fiery leader in Dan Campbell. I see a fiery leader in Ryan Vogelsong. He couldn't do it by himself. You'd have to have the right manager, former manager, somebody with some bench. He needs a bench jockey with some serious experience that he can say, hey, what should we do here? But I think Vogie is kind of a better, more reasonable version of like Will Clark, or like a combo of like Will Clark and Rags. And I'm a Vogelsong fan. I don't love pitchers as managers, but they have to have more juice. They got to have more fire. They got to have more fight. I mean, this was a sad year. It wasn't as sad as Gabe Kapler, get out of here if you don't stand and kneel as I kneel, and genuflect. I was like genuflect. None of that. I mean, that was a joke. But this is equally bad. They played awful brand of baseball in the last 6 weeks. I mean, come on. You're not going to bench Elliot Ramos. I love Elliot Ramos. I would have benched Elliot Ramos. When you didn't bench Elliot Ramos, you might as well have just said there's no accountability on this team. You can play like shit. You can have your head in the sand. You can do whatever the hell you want, and there is no repercussions. No, that can't be the way it goes. That can't be the way it goes down. Buster's got to yank Bo Mel's sheets. He gave him the extension. He exercised the extension. Great. Who cares? The Giants ownership group has more money than God. That's his parting gift. Goodbye, Bo Mel. Go find a new manager, somebody who's inspiring, somebody who's energetic, somebody who's got some toughness, somebody who's going to put a finger in somebody's chest and tell them that they're effed up when they're effed up. And Bo Mel's lost all fire to do that. I mean, some of the things that I've heard him say in the last month and some of these post games, I think he should be fired for that alone. You are the leader of men, and the team is sleepy, and they're playing horrible ball, and the buck stops with you. So
yeah, he looks defeated. He looks He does. He looks totally defeated.
He
looks kind of like, man, this was my dream job, and it's going down the hill fast.
He's lost it. I mean, he lost. Yeah. We should have known it because the Padres had a ton of talent, and they played like crap under Bo Mel. So I don't know what the deal is, but he's lost whatever fire he had, whatever juice he had. But I'm not ready to say, you know what, the Giants have nothing good to lean on, and let's go to Yadier Molina and the Cardinals. I just don't. I mean, I think there are people and viable options here. I mean, I like David Bell. I know he didn't have a great run in Cincinnati, but I think David Bell probably would have been Sabian's pick if he had been the general manager. He probably would have hired David Bell, but they need some fight. There's no fight on this team. There's no passion. It's a passionless losing, which is driving me bananas because I would rather yell and scream and be passionate. And I'd rather have whatever team I'm rooting for have the leader of that team yell and scream and be passionate than just sit here and just watch this thing circle the drain and this uninspired loser team with their horrendous offense, their lousy defense, their lazy base running. I mean, come on. I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, if there was some reason to point to Bo Mel's return in 2026, I don't know what it is.
How would you feel?
I like
Larry,
the guy, but come on, man. That's it. It's time.
How would you feel if New York,
if
the Yankees end up parting ways with Aaron Boone because they fall on their face and don't make the playoffs or bow out early, and the pressure is in New York, they fire Aaron Boone. Lou kind of likes the idea of Boone, that the Giants jump on a guy like that. At least he shows fire and gets tossed out of games.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not, I think, as I said, I'd go with a David Bell before I'd go with Aaron Boone, at least he's got the tie to the Giants. It doesn't have to be Vogie either. It could be somebody else, but it's just, is there a star? Is there a managing star somewhere? Yeah. Is there a minor league managing star somewhere? Because if there is, I'd want to bring him in for an interview and see what he's got. The other thing is Boch. But, you can go back to Boch if you want. Boch is done at the end of the year in Texas, and he's God knows how to be popular with the fans.
Back. I don't know. But what about
I don't know if he wants to come back either?
What about Mark DeRosa? He's going to be the WBC manager again. He was
I like that. I like that idea too.
2010.
I like
he's got now that guy's got passion. You can see it on the MLB Network show. He's very passionate and he's a great communicator. This guy's it doesn't seem like Melvin and Kapler were good communicators. I mean,
who's managing the San Jose Giants right now?
I don't know,
because they're kicking ass. They got all the future Giants on that roster, and that's what the Dodgers did in the 70s. They got rid of Walter Alston. They hired Lasorda. Who was Lasorda? Lasorda was the Las Vegas Aces Albuquerque manager, so he knew Russell and Say and Lopes and Garvey, and he had them in the minor leagues, and so it wasn't like all new, And it's like I'm not sure who's managing the San Jose Giants right now, but man, you got Dakota Jordan, you got a bunch of guys there. I mean, I don't know if they have a good skipper there or not.
Lowe says Billy Martin couldn't motivate these millionaires with guaranteed contracts. Fire the entire scouting room and start hiring the Rays and A's guys. It starts there. Yeah, you might be right. I am dead set against this. I think if both Bailey and Chapman are back next year in the starting lineup, it's a 500 team again. I don't care who's managing.
Here would be another. Here, let me throw one more name at you. I'm talking about passion. I like the idea of going internally, but if you want to go external, what do you think of this name? What do you think of Jason Varitek?
Boston, yeah.
I mean, he's a big, tough guy. He's a catcher. I always like the catchers. They seem like they make good managers. They see the game, from the right vantage point. I just think that Varitek, they need somebody who's like Varitek with Vogie as the pitching. I mean, they need some fire. They need some juice. They need somebody who's going to push back against low effort and low energy.
Here's somebody in the chat. I see a name somebody threw out. What do you think of JT Snow? He's a guy that's been pretty vocal and called out some things on the radio and he's not afraid.
I like that idea.
He's not afraid to say anything.
Isn't he one of the owners of the Oakland Ballers, or is he managing the Ballers? I think he has some kind of involvement. Either he's part owner.
He can divest.
He's just on the coaching staff.
He's just on the coaching staff.
Yeah,
he's a bear downer. You could have him, and then he could maybe bring some former players he played with at U of A. I sort of like that. Hey, Larry, first of all, I want to give you my prayers in regards to your buddy, Mr. Papa. I know that, how close you are with him, and it sort of sucks when the C word comes in, and I know you and him and the Niners, it's, a very, very unique family. So I want to tell you our prayers are with you there. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, I think one of the people, and me and Dan and Dallas about this, I think they really miss as a bench coach, Wotus, because, when Wotus was there, at least everything seemed in control. Nowadays, their defense has gotten worse. Their running base stealing has gotten worse. The placing of the players have gotten worse. I think he was such a catalyst there. He was like a second manager. I'm not saying bring him back as a manager, but, if you want someone just to help get a start like a Vogie, and, got to remember, Vogie wasn't prima donna. I mean, he had to work. And if you ever watch the highlights when they won the World Series, he was grateful because really he was out of baseball. He had to go to the Mexican League. I mean, he suffered, so he knows what it takes. So I do like that. But, I think the Giants miss a good field general like a Ron Wotus, because right now I don't know who he is. But with the old Giants, you always saw him there. So
That's a great name to go with Vogie. I mean, Vogie and Wotus. That would be a fantastic combo. I really do. Wotus has got lots of experience as a minor league manager. He'd be a great bench coach for a guy like Vogelsong. But I think Vogelsong is a unique personality. I think
he's young.
He's
not
tough.
Old. Yeah.
He's smart. He's tied to their winning. But he's also been working in the organization as a roving pitching instructor. So he's got a pretty good idea of like what some of these guys, how they've evolved as pitchers over the last couple of years. I think that's kind of important. So I think like Vogie and Wotus or even, JT with Vogie as the pitching coach would not be bad. But I definitely would like to see somebody with the passion of Ryan Vogelsong connected to this thing, because I'd say Will Clark, but I just don't really think that Will's like, it's like he'd be great for a week, but I don't know if it would, after a few weeks, it would be like
he's got a little Harbaugh in him.
Well,
it might wear bad. It might wear bad over time.
Speaking of wearing, he wears on me. I love the dude as a player, and he's a first class guy. I have a hard time listening to him on the broadcast, but Hunter Pence is brought up here. Buster, trust him.
Anything to get him off that broadcast. Make it seriously. I'd make him the manager just so I have to listen to his stupid fucking points. I mean, this is one of the worst broadcasters anybody's ever heard.
Agreed.
Seriously, Bob Costas told Larry Baer that this guy was going to be a great broadcaster, and he's wrong. I'll say this: Javi Lopez is 15 times the broadcaster.
Yeah, Lopez is great. Pence. So is Estes. I'll say this about Hunter Pence: when I listened to him on other broadcasts, I heard him on the Roku broadcast, I believe, in Toronto, or no, not Toronto. That was Candiotti, but I heard him on Apple. He's not nearly as homerish and corny as he is on the Giants broadcast. I know for a fact. Let me change that word. I'm 95% certain that Larry Baer has coached up Pence and said, "You're on this broadcast to be a cheerleader for the Giants," because they had Estes on there before and Lopez, and they shuffled Estes off into the studio, and now it's just Pence and Fleming. And I swear, I feel like I'm listening to some rookie league ball somewhere in Billings, Montana or something. I'm like, what the heck is this? You're insulting my intelligence.
It wouldn't work as a manager.
He's too corny.
It's corny. But I blame Larry Baer. I blame Larry Baer because I think he has said, this is your role to be hype. And, Pence isn't this way when he's on a national broadcast. He actually talks about his baseball. He talks about baseball in a knowledgeable way that you actually go, oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's a good point. But on the Giants broadcast, like, oh, great pitch. Oh, that was a super. Wasn't that beautiful, Dave? That was such a beautiful swing. Who says beautiful like it's you're watching,
he's like
some-
high. He's like a little too high on life for me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, and it's like maybe we'd all be that way if we had, $25 million in the bank or something. But he's
But
just a little too.
I think he's
a little too enthusiastic.
Yeah,
I think it might
it's the
wear.
bad
I think
guy.
it might wear bad with ball players. To be honest, I mean,
For
It is
sure.
they,
all
I mean,
they-
he did
maybe it would be
that
nice for a
preacher
while.
speech thing.
Or
The
just
preacher
that-
speech he did during the World Series run, where he like had to talk the guys up, and then, but even that, is going to get old really fast.
Yeah,
That was
it's
a
just-
decade ago.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I like his energy. I like his energy. I give you another guy that I really like his energy is Eric Burns. I like Eric Burns'
Yeah.
energy. And another guy that just, you just can't, I'd almost hire him just so I don't have to hear him. It's like, because he's a tough guy to listen to, but you know
Yeah,
what?
the no filter show is tough.
Yeah, but I mean, and he's a tough broadcasting is not his thing, but dude, he played the game so hard with so much passion that,
Carter
you know.
Bradley greater than the
Yeah.
Giants. Oh, look at this comment. Aaron donates $2. Carter Bradley. This is
How about Ryan Terrio? Ryan Terrio is a good Giant. He might not be bad, but I mean, it definitely has to be somebody, a young man's game. It's a young man's game. It's got to be somebody who's got the energy to, really.
How about the dude that
do
puts
it.
his hat on backwards on the MLB show, and he was a catcher for the Giants for about a week or two? Eric Kratz. Eric Kratz is the guy that knows the game, and he's young, and he's got anybody that can do TV and has a personality. Guys like Kratz, DeRosa. I mean, I wouldn't bring in AJ Przinsky, but
I mean, I wonder if he'd be a good manager. He's probably so smug. I don't know if somebody would kick his ass.
But
Somebody
people like Kratz. Kratz is a solid guy.
Yeah.
I like the idea of DeRosa personally because he's such a great communicator and he's
positive.
He's a positive guy. You don't have to worry about him doing some frickin' food reviews at 11:30. Got to balance the smoke here. I mean, I can't believe. I just can't even believe that the guy lasted as long as Kapler did. 21 might have been the worst thing that happened to the Giants.
Larry Bear hired.
It was a great year. 21. I mean, it came out of nowhere.
It was a miracle year. It was the most unlikely sports season of my lifetime, regardless of year, regardless of sport. I mean, come on. What was the most amazing thing? I'll say that one thing that I think we should have learned a lesson from in that year is that the Giants that year had, like, of their 25 guys on their roster, like 18 of them
had career years.
But I was going to say, like, 18 of them didn't know where they were going to play the next year. I mean, it's like everybody was in a contract year. And, I kind of really believe that if you want to get the best out of these baseball players suck when they sign these long-term deals because they shut it down. They shut it down and they're like, I'll get it going in my walk year. Well, guess what? When you have 18 guys in their walk year, like the Giants did in 2021, you got serious potential to play over your skis and play better than your talent. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, they had a bunch of guys who, had career years. I mean, and they had a very motivated group of guys. And I just kind of think when you give guys the Adamas contract, I mean, why not you're just killing any and all motivation because you're just giving them, wealth and security. And baseball players don't, they like wealth and security, but they don't play well necessarily with it.
Yeah, the one guy that didn't work out too well this year for his walk year, I feel kind of sorry for him. Poor Lamont.
It's Lamont Wade Jr., the San Francisco Giants, and you're listening to Dan on the NorCal Sports Network.
Right, Lamont, thank you. He was a free agent, and he's now out of the game. He's been released by the Angels. What a horrible time to have the worst possible year you could have. I don't even think he's hitting 180, is he? I mean,
is he still there?
No, the
he was
Angels.
released.
Yeah, no, I was going to say they got rid of him.
Yeah, so this guy had the worst possible year in a contract year, and he's not old. He's only like 30, 31, something like that.
He had a good 6 months.
But the thing is, these guys that come out of nowhere and go back to nowhere, I mean, yeah, it's a short prime. I mean, if you it's like Yaz. People are like, oh, what about Yaz? Well, yeah, because he came out of nowhere, and he's, just a lot of times those guys who do come out of nowhere, they'll have like 1 year, maybe 2 years. But then if you start depending on them to have that year, that's when you get let down.
In the lights. Hey, Larry, I have a question. Since you're sort of the fresh face of this show, what do the Giants do with 4 hefty contracts? One of the things Dan's always said is they should have probably traded Webb, because you probably could have got something considering how important pitching was. And they don't really see the Giants winning the next 3 years with Webb. And with Webb's contract, he's your greatest asset, not your greatest pitcher. Because last year, if you remember, with Webb, the Giants were 12-16 in their starts. Now, I know he does a lot of innings, but at the same time, you have youth hopefully coming up with pitching. What can you do? And we're in this situation. Everyone has been saying, I keep saying the Buster juice. I'm a little bit let down in what Buster's done. All right, so now it's the offseason. The Giants don't make the playoffs. What can they do with what we have? Because it's one of the worst free agent years ever. We're not getting Tucker, so let's put that beside us, okay? So really, we can't win with the same team we have. What are they going to do in the offseason? With your mind, what do you think? Dan always has brought up, hey, trade Webb. I said, hey, they probably should have traded Ray, because you have Ray one next year, and then he's going to be a free agent, and he's probably going to want a 3 or 4 year deal, especially if he goes like 15-6 again, being a lefty and starting pitching. And I think that's good. But you being a Giant fan as much as me, what can they do this offseason to get me excited and us for 2026?
Well, I think the first thing they got to do is they got to stop being reactionary and start planning. Have a plan. It's like if you want to do anything, you got to have a plan. And I don't get that. I get the vibe that they don't have a plan, that they're just kind of hoping that it all just turns around as fast as possible, because we can't stomach a rebuild. And so, we can't possibly, think about 4 moves down the road. I just think that they need to think ahead. So, like, for example, Robbie Ray, do you want to, you have 2 choices. You can trade Robbie Ray in the offseason. He's got a full year of control. He's probably going to be coming off a very good year, right? He's had a good year. You can trade Robbie Ray, or you can decide that you're going to pay Robbie Ray. But what that means, 5 years, 150. Are you willing to give him 5 years, 150? If you're not willing to give him 5 years, 150, let's work back from that. Okay. Do you want to pay Robbie Ray 5 years, 150? I don't. So then what? Okay. If you don't want to pay him, that means you have to be committed to trading him. Then the question is, do you want to trade him at the deadline, or do you want to trade him in the offseason? And to me, I would trade him in the offseason, because there's a risk that he won't be healthy at the deadline, or there's a risk that you're going to be involved in some race of some kind, and that you're going to change your whole mind about you're going to abort the mission of building, and you're going to try to win in the present because you're so freaking hungry. And I get it. It's like going shopping, at Costco when you're starving. It's like you start buying all kinds of stuff. It's like, no, you can't do that. You have to go shopping when you're full, when you're not really hungry. And that's the Giants. They have to figure out, do you want to pay Robbie Ray? And if you do, then fine, go with it. But if you don't, and I don't, because I don't want to pay a pitcher. Oh, Corbin Burns, he's durable. Oh, elbow twinge. Now he's gone for 2 years. So if you want to pay him 5 years, 150, then pay him, or go down this road and try to compete with him. But if you don't, I think you got to trade him right now when you know he's healthy, when you got a full year of control. You know what I'm saying? I think there's going to be more bidders at the beginning of the year than there will be in the middle of the year. So that's the first thing. And then I think you gotta commit to your youth. I mean, you have a bunch of young players in your system. Commit to going with them. Try to add a few more and see if you can. It's a young man's game. All the best teams are young. I'll tell you what, the series that I was like, oh, forget it, they're done. It was the Toronto series coming out of the break because they badly needed to like hit the ground with a big momentum shift. And they got this Toronto team with Barger and all those guys are all young. They had like 7 guys in their lineup hitting 280. We had like 5 guys in our lineup hitting 220. I mean, we have all these old guys. They get all these young guys. We have no power, no speed. They got power. They got speed. I mean, it's like that is what you're trying to build. Go build your Toronto. Go build get your Bargars. Go find your young players. All the best teams in the game have young, controllable talent. So stop being wed to this. We must compete in the present. They stop blowing these opportunities to trade Bumgarner, Rodon, Gosman this year with Robbie Ray, and start trading these guys for the Pete Crow Armstrongs of the world and keep building. You know, it's like you left Candlestick. You wanted a new home. You didn't just walk across the street and, you know, start partying. You had to build. You had to put up pillars and cement, and you had to build the thing. You have to build this. And it's like they have no patience for any kind of a build. They don't believe that their fans are sophisticated enough to understand the big picture, which is dead wrong. Giants fans are very smart, very sophisticated. They love the franchise. They love the ballpark. They love the championships. They're absolutely dying, screaming at the top of their lungs for you to build them their version of the Dodgers, and you refuse to do it. You keep taking all these shortcuts. You keep saying, we can't trade this guy. The message it will send. But we can't possibly make this trade of Robbie Ray because we've got some fucking giveaway in September and we've got to have an extra 10,000 in the goddamn house. Well, if that's your motivation, then you're going to get your 10,000 fans and you're going to lose and lose and lose. Yep. So sometimes you have to look your ticket sales guy and say, you know what? Sorry, Bob, we're not going to have a 40,000 in September because we're trading Robbie Ray because we're going to get Pete Crow Armstrong from another team. And it's like, build a big time team. The A's had this billboard. They're building a stadium. We're building a team. They were right. The Giants have built a stadium. The A's do. What do the Giants need? They need fucking Nick Kurtz. They need Brent Rooker. They need those kinds of players. And, you know, maybe, you know, the A's are
Leo DeVries.
The A's are about ready to fold. Why don't you go to, you know, you got a million connections. Why don't you go to David Forst, who probably has lived here in the Bay Area for the last 25 years. You telling me that David Forst has never had an opportunity to go leave the Bay Area and instead he demands to work for some skinflint jackass owner in the Oakland A's so he can be Billy Bean's sidekick? No, come on. He wants to stay here for some reason. Now the team's getting ready to leave for Vegas. Go cut David Forst a big check and let him help you run this thing and build a team. You're not worse than the Dodgers because they have more money. You're both rich. It's literally, I feel like I'm back in grammar school at Stewart Hall and I got the kid living on Pacific and at the end of Pacific saying, you know what? My neighbor's rich. You're fucking rich too.
Go Lions.
You know? Stop complaining about your rich neighbor and start beating him. The Dodgers are beating the Giants because they're smarter. Not because they're richer. They're smarter. The people that run their team are smarter. They make smarter decisions. If the Giants want to get with that, they want to run with the Dodgers, then commit to spending the same percentage of revenue that they spend. Giants are spending 47% of baseball revenue. The Dodgers are spending 53%. You can't make less revenue and spend a lower percentage of your baseball revenue and expect to win. So start spending with them and start making better baseball decisions And that's going to get you there. Not this, not some lucky this or that, or some, let's have the right, wrap ourselves around. It's Cal Poly night. It's this night. It's that night. I'm fucking tired of this shit. How about winning night? Can we have postseason night where we actually watch a team that's going to the fucking playoffs? I'm done with the Giants and their loser ways. And I'm done with their loser fans who are so willing to accept this. You're the reason. You fans are the reason that your team sucks, because you lap it up. You sit there and support a shitty product day after day after day after day. Guess what? You're an enabler. All you fans who are like, you know what? We don't need Reese Hoskins. We like Lamont Wade. I don't want this outfielder. I like Mike Yastrzemski. You are enabling your shitbird franchise, and you're the reason they're never going to win.
Hey, Larry, when you're talking about that, I think the Giants, not only are they going to wind up fourth in the NL West, I think overall they're the fourth best team. The Dodgers, every game sold out. They got superstars. Padres, they do whatever it goes to win. That place down there is a frenzy. We're going to be down there next weekend when the Giants are playing there, and then we're going to the Del Mar racetrack after. The place is crazy. You see a Padre game, it's like Seattle right now. It's a frenzy. Arizona's young. They traded a couple of their superstars, but they're going to be ahead of us. Dan always brings up one thing, and you just talked about this. Pick a lane. Either do one or the other, but they're just happy. They're happy, hey, being a couple games over 500 and getting 3.2. But, as I brought up earlier, the Giants have only had one winning second half season since 2015. One. And that was 2021. So let's throw that out. If you take that away, that's 10 straight losing second half seasons. Obviously, something's wrong, and everyone's passed this by. And, it's just one of those things where, I'm a season ticket holder. I don't know if you heard last year, I got escorted out of a game because Duvall gave up 4 in the 9th, and people just sit on their thumbs. They don't care. I went, Duvall, you're a disgrace. He didn't give a shit. I went to him. I got up my seat. I was in his face. People looking at me. I had a cop come over. I go, sit down. This is my seat, loser. Right? I got escorted out because not one other person was upset that the Giants blew a 3-run lead in the 9th. Hey, that's what being a fan is, right? It's gotten out of hand. Dan got upset 3 weeks ago. They had the fucking wave. They had the wave going on at a ball game. The other thing is they do all these giveaways. The girl who's in charge is an idiot. Right? Why do you have, when the Dodgers are in town on a Saturday night, Barry Bonds bobblehead? You do that on Pittsburgh on a Tuesday night, right? They did the same thing this past weekend. The Mets are, who was it? It was in town this weekend. Someone good. Or maybe it was when the Mets are in town. Stephen Curry. Yeah. No, the Mets, when the Mets were in town last homestand, Stephen Curry bobblehead. Because they've run out of
I was there that night.
But why do you give away a Stephen Curry bobblehead when the Mets are here on a weekend and it's going to be full anyway? They live in a dream world. It's unbelievable. So, but Dan always says they got to pick a lane. I think they're in the rest area because they don't know where the hell they're going. And this is now going to be.
If it was me, the guy that I would go after, there's a key guy for the Dodgers that I would try to take away from them. His name is Billy Gasparino. He's the vice president in charge of amateur scouting for the Dodgers. He went to Oak State. He played college ball for Oak State. He had some, failed career. He came over with Logan White. He's a Logan White disciple. He's been running the Dodgers personnel for a number of years. They hired him in 2014. So he's been there about 10 years now. And under him, they drafted Walker Buehler, Will Smith, Dustin May, Gavin Lux, a number of guys. And he's a really top tier guy. It's like, how long are you going to go with Michael Holmes? How long are you going to go with Kyle Haynes? I realize you Giants are loyal, but they're too loyal.
They stole Ned. The Dodgers got Ned from the Giants. Maybe we can finally get someone from the Dodgers to the Giants. Reverse.
Seriously, first of all, how did the Giants' greatest run ever in San Francisco is the most recent run. And how did they have that run? They took John Barr away from the Dodgers. John Barr had decided he was going to draft Buster Posey. He came to the Giants knowing that was part of the agreement, is that you're going to come here, and if Buster's on the board, you're going to take him. And so that was how that's how this whole era began. I mean, I think it's safe to say, I think we would all agree that the Giants wouldn't have won those 3 World Series without Buster Posey.
And they got lucky to get him, because you remember that nobody thought they were going to sign him. So he dropped, even though he was the best college player, he dropped because of the money.
But I'm just saying, it's like, you have a real sharp guy that they took from the Dodgers who found Buster Posey, and the rest is history. That's the greatest Giants run. This guy Gasparino, whatever his salary is, go, double his salary. I mean, how hard is it to people pick off executives from top teams all the time? The Dodgers have been on top forever. This guy's been their amateur scouting director since 2014. They've won as much as they have, and nobody's picked this guy off. I mean, if this were the NFL, this guy would be somebody's president of baseball operations 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Instead, I'm sure they're paying him well. He's been with the Dodgers for a number of years, but I mean, my God, I mean, these guys don't make that much money. Double his salary. How hard? What does the guy make? $3 million? So you pay him $6 million. You're minting money. You own your own ballpark. There is no expenditure that should stand between you and success.
It's paid for.
It's paid for. Remember, so go find the best scouts, and if you don't have them, buy them.
Yeah, they sold 8% of the team for an additional, like $60 million this year. They got the money, but they got to use it wisely. I think it's a great point.
They don't act like it, though.
Dan? You're muted, Dan.
With spending?
Yes. I asked Larry. I think Larry brings up some good points. What do you think for the Giants? Do you like some of these things, or?
If it were me, I'd get creative. I'd get very creative, and I don't care what it took. I'd pay Matt Chapman another $25 million. Say, look, waive your no trade contract, whatever. We'll send you to one of the teams you want, 3-4 teams. Give us teams you want. We'll send you. Pay part of his contract down. Get rid of Chapman. Move Casey Schmidt over to third base. Go make a trade for Xavier Edwards at second base. I would, as I mentioned last night on the show, I would get creative. I would even consider trading Eldridge for 2 great pitchers with the Marlins. Give me Alcantara. Give me this kid that's coming up, Robbie Snelling. He's killing it. Get Xavier Edwards and get Agustin Ramirez, their catcher. Give Bailey and Eldridge away. Schmidt at third, Adames at short, second baseman Xavier Edwards, who can fly. You got Devers now, and add some pitching. Get 2 more pitchers into the rotation. The Giants are so short on pitching that they got Highway Ting pitching. Okay, we're going to see Highway Ting tomorrow or Wednesday. Look, he pitched great Friday night. I don't care. He's not going to last. Carson Wisenhunt, his pitch is too straight for a fastball. He's got 2 pitches that he throws. Not good enough for a major league starter right now. Giants need pitching, and they need athleticism, and Chapman is going to that is going to wear badly, that contract. And we've seen him now for 2 years. He's not going to get better. He strikes out more and more, and as his bat speed goes, that's the first thing that goes. He's going to strike out even more. 2 years from now, you're going to be going, oh my gosh. You can actually probably get rid of him right now if you're willing to use your money and pay down the salary. So, because no one's going to take his salary for 5 years at $25 million. No one.
I like how all of the contracts they most recently signed are all the guys that nobody would take those contracts. I mean, it's like literally. I mean, they gave Jung-Hoo Lee, $19 million a year. I mean, whose decision was that? $19 million for a KBO hitter who doesn't have power or speed? I mean, really? Really? I mean, Boris absolutely took them to the cleaners on that. I'll say that there's one other thing. The Giants, when I was a kid, were they were one of the teams in baseball that had the strongest international thing. The best players in the world are in the international market. The Padres international spending is so much greater than the Giants over the last 5 or 6 years. And look what they've got these guys like DeVries that they could hawk for to the A's because they just got these guys lying around. I mean, look at that trade they made to the Nationals. I was watching was it Hassel? It was in Wright. I mean, all of a sudden, Nationals have all these guys that came out of the Padres system. So it's like basically prospects are capital in baseball. If you want to get better, you have to get better prospects. And to me, the most fertile baseball markets, it's the international market. And it's like the Giants, they spend, and all of a sudden it's like, it doesn't work out. Angel Villalona shoots somebody or whatever, and it doesn't work out. And then they get scared feet. I mean, they tuck tail like, oh my God, okay, we can't try that again. Look how many Dodger international signings when it comes to the Cuban kids that they signed, that almost every one of those guys busted. I mean, Puig was pretty good, but all those they signed like 5 other guys to multi-million-dollar deals. Most of those Cuban players they signed sucked. Almost none of them made it, but you don't see them going up. We spent a bunch of money in Cuba. It didn't work out. We can't spend any money. That's like the Giants. If they hit, they're intrigued, but if they miss, it's like they get, scared money doesn't make money. And they're a scared investor in the international market, and that's the best market there is. So you can't just be like, well, we just won't do it. No, AJ Prellers of the world are going to guarantee they're going to go right by you. And look at this division. Diamondbacks were in the World Series. Dodgers are a perennial winner. Padres have way more of a presence in the international market. And the Giants, the only team they're really beating in the whole personnel side of things is the Rockies. And that is the only team that they're beating consistently in the standings. And I don't think it's, coincidental.
Dan, I couldn't hear you. You were muted, but did you see Aaron lost? Aaron had a pretty good quote. Did you happen to see it at 10:45? Dan, you're muted.
Yeah, hold on one sec. I got to grab something. I'll get to the comment, but go ahead, Dallas. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I mean, they're just afraid to spend money. I mean, yes, they have more money than God, but they don't spend like they have more money than God. They're like the millionaire that drives the Honda Accord, because they don't want you to think that they have money. And you'll see
that's a loathsome individual, by the way. I mean, you show me a millionaire driving a Hyundai, trying to act poor, and I'll show you a guy needs to be beaten down.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the Giants. We're all down for getting rid of Melvin. He's underachieved, but they paid him an extra $4 million. The Giants are going to want to get their money for that, so they're going to let him start the year next year because
that's
we already
ridiculous.
paid that money.
That's ridiculous. If they can eat that. They eat $4 million at a time all the time.
But between that and Posey just signed him, so he's basically having to admit, I made a mistake. So he doesn't want to do that. So I think we're going to end up with him at least at the beginning of next year, which is a waste of time.
Suicide. That's suicide if you bring him back. So what you're expecting is the Giants to get off to a great start in the first 2 months, because if they get off to a slow start, the whole conversation around the Giants is what he tried to avoid this year was what's going to happen with Melvin. And it's going to be like, fire Melvin. And then you're going to have fire the manager of a young team, and you're going to have to bring in somebody on an interim basis. I just start new. I would just start new because
I would too. I hope that they have the foresight to do that. So at least this year, Posey decided, okay, we're out of it. Let's trade some pieces. And he moved some players and got, 8 guys. Some of them may be okay. Who knows? But at least it's a step in the right direction, because Farhan wouldn't do that. He was always, trying to add Mark Canha and go for it, and it never works. So, I mean, the problem with developing the minor league system, which the Giants need to do, is that it's a longer process. You get guys, it takes years for them to start bearing fruit. And so you have to hope that they're moving in the right direction by trying to get more prospects in the system.
Let me ask you guys this. The Marlins, just a very poor paying franchise that doesn't want to pay anybody. Whose roster would you rather have right now? The Giants? If you could just swap rosters, who would you rather have, the Marlins or the Giants?
I mean, I haven't studied the Marlins roster, but
they got
some good
catcher,
good young
Ramirez.
players.
They've got Stowers out in the outfield. They got Otto Lopez, who's pretty good
Can
shortstop. They
Yeah.
got Xavier Edwards. They've got they had Jesus Sanchez, but they traded him. But they've got some young
Giants,
guys.
It's not like the Giants have no talent. The Giants have some talent, but it's just that overall, it came across this year kind of like a rudderless group as far as the dugout was concerned, which is why we're back at the whole Melvin, debate. I really do think that the whole extending Melvin was just about trying to go for it this year. So I don't think there's any doubt that Buster's going to yank his sheets before next year. I would be shocked.
I hope you're right.
I'd be shocked if they come back with Bob Melvin in the spring. That would just it would be such a hard sell. It would be so uninspiring. It would almost demand that they went and spent a ton of money. And if you think about it, they've already spent so much money this year that I don't know that that's going to be in their cards. I think their plan, I think they need to switch Melvin out because it's either Melvin or spend a lot more money. And I think that what would you rather do? And I think
Sure.
when they go around the room, all those cheap asses are going to say, you know what? I'd rather get rid of Melvin than spend more of my money.
On paper, this team is better than last year, but they're not playing like they're better. And they're probably going to finish about the same. So they need to be able to get more out of the extra investment that they've made in Devers and Adames. And, they have to get better performance, and they're not listening to Melvin. They're allowed to make the same mistakes over and over. Mental mistakes, base running mistakes, defensive blunders. Why do they put up with that? They don't listen to Matt Williams. They just run through his signs. There's no accountability on this team. And so that they do need to go in a different direction.
That's a good point, by the way. I kind of feel like the manager and the coaches are coaching against their own players. I'm not saying they're trying to lose, but I'm saying that it's like Matt Williams, Ramos makes a terrible decision the other day and gets himself thrown out at third base. Matt Williams, and the guy, it was so awful, but instead of getting mad at him, he just turns and stares at Melvin. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He literally was facing this way, and he's like, turn this way, and now he's staring at Melvin like, can you believe how ridiculous our players play? And it's like, they're your players. I mean, it's your team. It's like, are you guys a team, or are you, against each other? I just get the feeling that everybody's like for themselves. Maybe the coaching staff's, I don't know. I get this weird vibe around the Giants this year. I like the staff more. It has more of the guy. I like the roster more now. I like the brand of ball they play more now. I much prefer this coaching staff on paper to Kapler's coaching staff. But I just kind of wonder if they don't seem very united. They seem like Matt Williams, they don't seem like they listen to Matt Williams, and Matt Williams seems like he doesn't like them. I would say Matt Williams doesn't respect a lot of the guys on this team. So
it could be.
I mean,
they don't listen to him, and they
don't listen to him. I don't think they
calls also.
Yeah, they don't respect him. He doesn't respect them. I mean, they're going to have to make some changes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a rough thing all the way around. I think they need, it's great to have the older guys, the more experienced staff. They went from Kapler and all of his guys that he picked up in junior college to coach.
75 coaches, by the way. You remember?
Yeah.
He had 75 assistant coaches.
Picked up everybody who'd never coached before, had a couple of coaches. It was like, we're going to have, 15 coaches. We're going to have the most coaches, all that. And then Buster goes the opposite and brings in all these older, established, big-time baseball players and coaches, and the respect's back. And then it's almost like these older guys have kind of, the game's past them a little bit or something. It's not like they're engaged that much in the game. The players.
I feel like
different.
Players should know the things that they should be teaching them, that they should already know them. And they're disgusted when they don't know them. I mean, Matt Williams, you were disgusted that Elliot Ramos ran to third on that one play. It was horrible. It was a terrible play. But be honest, Matt, did you ever tell him not to? No. You're just pissed that he did it. You're pissed that he did it, and you can't believe that he did it. And I know you probably think he's, ridiculously stupid for doing it. But did you ever talk to him about it? Probably not. Probably not.
What happened to letting not the public see? You take the guy, you take him behind,
right,
the way it is, and make sure it doesn't happen again, because these things are happening 3, 4, 5 times to the same guys.
Lou, did you see Christensen? The Giants have a coach named Christensen,
Yeah,
who was some
had some crappy little career.
Yeah.
Part-timer with the A's, whatever. Yeah. Who cares? It doesn't matter. He lectured Elliot Ramos in the dugout for like 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you're done.
Enough.
You are so done. He's never listening to you again. And
Yeah.
even if you're in the right, so what? You don't do that to somebody for 11 minutes.
Right in front of everybody saw it.
Only because Elliot Ramos is like really a great dude did he not just, push back on that. But it was ridiculous. At one point, I think Kruk said, I don't know if I've ever seen anything that go on that long. Yeah, you probably haven't, because it's bringing huge embarrassment to the player. And it was like, come on, Christensen. I mean, you come on, you're a marginal ball player at best. You're going to lecture this guy for 11 minutes in the middle of a game on camera. I mean, I thought that was bad.
How about the former coach in Miami? I think he was manager of the year. I saw senior softball games put his name up, Schumacher. That he was pretty hard-nosed guy, fiery guy. I don't know. There's different guys, but the Giants do need to bring in guys that are a little bit more, that played in the era of the 2000s, not in the 80s. The game's different. They need to bring in guys where some of these younger guys will have more respect, but they can't do the Kapler thing where, it's just bring in a normal person. Bring in a guy that is just a normal human being that's going to, have normal conversations with people. And I don't know who the answer is, who it could be, but
Vogt would have been perfect, because Vogt to me is a combination of smart baseball guy, but he strikes the right tone. He's very he's very competent, but he's also relatable. And I think he would have been popular with the fans. I think he would have been popular with the players. I think he would have been a great choice.
Yeah, and then the point that Ben Bamboo's making here, Chisholm got picked off first on an infield pop out, and Boone took him down to the tunnels to chew him out. You walk down the steps at the Giants and get out of the view of the camera if you want to chew out Elliot Ramos for 10 minutes. But you don't do it in the dugout in front of your teammates and where the cameras can see you, because all that does is, I'm like you said, Larry, Ramos is probably like, I ain't this guy, I'm not going to,
Well, whether Ramos is a really nice guy. See, Ramos is a really nice guy who probably was okay with it. But you know what? Somebody probably got on the horn to Ramos and said, "Don't let that fucking guy do that to you ever again." You know what I mean? I guarantee you, somebody probably said, "Dude, tell Christensen that it ain't easy to play in the big leagues, and if he played there for more than 5 seconds, he'd know that." And it just was wrong. It was just wrong. And it's not how you do it. And you don't need to embarrass somebody. Yeah, he made a mistake. To relive it for 11 minutes is a bit much. But yeah, I mean, they need a new direction. But a baseball player, a baseball direction, not some weird analytics thing. Give me some competitors. Give me some icy competitors. A couple of them that who are where the guys are going to play for them. I get the feeling that the Padres didn't really play for Bo Mel, and I get the feeling the Giants don't really play for Bo Mel. You got to have somebody that is endearing, that's inspiring, that's makes you want to fight and win for him. And it's like I think Vogelsong would be really, really good. A vote Vogelsong combo would be a dream, but they need something kind of like that. A new direction.
Someone a little more fiery. You want to be a little bit afraid of your manager. You don't want to screw up around him. And I don't think they're afraid of Bo Mel at all. And he says, Ramos, do you need a day off? To clear your head. No, I want to play. It's like asking my son, do you want to be grounded, for a day or no, I'm fine. I don't need to be grounded.
Or it could be the GM too. It doesn't have to be the manager. I mean, Sabes was the bottom line. Al Rosen, when he was here, used to turn over the spread. I mean, Roger Craig was the good cop, and Al Rosen was the bad cop. You don't have to have the manager be the hard ass. It can be the general manager, but it can't be just like, hey, we all just love everybody and we're accepting total pathetic mediocrity every night.
Right.
It just you got to have somebody who says, no, guys, we need to play better ball.
Chapman hits under 200 the last month. They don't. No, there's no suggestion of giving him a day off. Get someone else in there. Yaz, he played almost every game, and for some unknown reason, I don't know why. It's just he just sticks with the same guys, and they play their game. And if they're winning, great. And if they're losing, we're losing. And it's the same post-game interview every single night. Same answer. Well, we didn't get any hits tonight. We didn't come through.
Melvin.
We didn't come through with the runners in scoring position, and it's pretty rough when that happens. Tonight, there was only 2 runners in scoring position so it wasn't even, we didn't even get them in scoring position.
I still love I love the Molina idea because I think the Giants' best players are Ramos and Devers, and Ramos has had a really rough year this year with some mental mistakes. A fellow countryman who he respects and looks up to, I think he's going to be able to get through to him. I look at it this way. I know Molina was a 10-year, or I mean, not a 10-year, but whatever, his whole career with the Cardinals. But you know what? Dusty Baker was a Dodger, and he did coach with the Giants and play with the Giants at the end of his career. And then he was the batting instructor, I think, for a year or two. So he had some ties to the Giants already, but he still spent the majority of his playing career with the Braves and the Dodgers. And you brought him in, and a lot of managers, they get that first opportunity, I mean, I remember, Ned, who's a great friend of the show, and Larry, we've talked to Ned. He had a really hard time leaving the Giants, but he got that one opportunity to be the man, and he wasn't going to pass it up because it was too good of an opportunity. Even
and the Dodgers were horrible then when he left.
Yeah, even though it was to the rival, he didn't want to leave. The Giants didn't want him to leave. Sabian didn't want him to leave, but it was like, man, I got a shot of a lifetime to be the man. And if you offer Molina a deal and the Cardinals are, I don't know how to say his last name, the Cardinals manager, how do you say it? Marmalade. But he's only been there like 2 years, right? 2-3 years at the most.
Yeah.
And
he's
so he may not be,
tenure.
they may not want to get rid of him. He's actually done a pretty good job with a pretty, roster they were trying to rebuild this offseason. They were trying to get rid of everybody so they could rebuild. And they're so, maybe doesn't mean Yachty can't go back to the Cardinals someday, but I think he would bring a different type of attitude that this team hasn't seen. Kapler was not, he wasn't a tough dude. Melvin's not a tough dude. This team needs some mental toughness. The way they play the game is just like the Bad News Bears at times. And I think the organization should consider looking to go outside and bring in some more outside talent from other organizations. Look, the one mistake that I think Buster made, and time will tell if it was a mistake or not, he went the safe route. He interviewed guys from other organizations, and he kept Manayason, who was Farhan's right-hand man for the whole time Farhan was here. Farhan took him away from Milwaukee, and he was his underling, him and Jeremy Shelley. And it's like we look at all the little pickup moves that Farhan did, and we blame Farhan for all these guys. Like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who's this Machado, the shortstop, for 3 games, and then you bring it up all the the trades with Seattle for who doesn't know that maybe Manayason was giving those tips to Farhan because it was his job to know every player. I don't know if Farhan knew every player in baseball like Manayason did, and we got all these guys, and I'll be shocked to see if this thing pans out the way it does, because if it were me, I think Buster should have just said, okay, I'm not hiring the day after they fire Farhan, all of a sudden the next day it's big announcement, Buster, and everybody's excited about Buster. Just for, why not have Buster say, I'm going to do a search, and then he says, I'm overseeing all of baseball operations, but I'm hiring a president of baseball ops, because when you hired yourself as the president of baseball ops, you limited yourself to a assistant GM, because a GM is not going to take a lateral job. Most teams won't say, okay, we'll move you from a GM to a GM to be a lateral move. So now you're forced to go find an assistant GM and bring him up to the GM. And Buster's in his first year of ever doing this. I think he would have been better off hiring a guy like Ned to run the entire operation. And Ned just reports to Buster. And Buster's still involved, but he's got an experienced guy to run the ship. And now you got some guy, Zach Manayason, he doesn't strike me as anything with fire in the belly. He doesn't strike me. I mean, the Giants,
he's a survivor. I mean, he's a survivor. I mean, a guy like Manayason, he grew up in the game.
Yeah.
He was a clubby. So, I mean, you don't go from being a clubby to being a head of baseball operations or a major player in baseball operations without basically just, going along. I'm not saying he has no talent or anything, but I mean, he's a friendly, nice guy who I'm sure works hard. But what they really need more than anything, I mean, the Farhan thing was just comical. He was just such a bad. I mean, he just made a million moves. He had a problem in that he had no guts. He didn't want to. He didn't want to win a deal as much as he didn't want to lose a deal. And so he would
had to be safe, Larry.
He had to be safe. I mean, there are people that are just really, really cautious. He is a really, really cautious guy. So he kept making these nothing moves, because it's like, I haven't traded for much, but guess what? I've traded away less. Okay, great.
He did make
that's
one good
basically him.
move, really a great move in my opinion, getting Robbie Ray and getting rid of DeSclafani and Haniger.
Yeah, but the other
That was a
move that he
gamble,
made.
though.
Yeah, but the other move that he made is he took on Zach Cozart's $13 million deal,
right.
and for it he got Will Wilson. Great.
Yeah.
How did that work out? Will Wilson's not even a major leaguer, and you took on $13 million of a commitment. Yeah, he got Seattle takes a bad money, and he made a good deal there. But I mean, it's just once again, it's like, he moves that are just, he's risk averse. You can't be the old general managers used to be like, the swashbuckler pirate type guys who smoked cigars and took chances and made multiplayer trades and this and that. Farhan was billed as, he's a creative horse trader. He was the least creative horse trader there's ever been. He just kept moving around deck chairs on the Titanic as the thing slipped to the bottom of the Atlantic. And it's like, sitting there going, we'll get rid of this reliever, Kervin Castro, goodbye, Dixon Machado, hello. And it's
for 4 days.
Yeah, and then 5 days later, let's get rid of the guy we just traded. And it's just,
here's the
whole thing was just tired.
Here's the thing the Giants, in my opinion, need, and it takes courage. A lot of people don't like the idea of moving off of some of your better players, but you look at what Brian Sabian and Ned Colletti did, taking over the team in 97. Their first move was to trade Matt Williams, and they get Jeff Kent and as the,
Vizcaino, Tavares.
And at the time we're like, are you kidding me? And Sabian had to go on the radio, KMBR, I'm not an idiot or whatever, remember that whole line.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the broadcasters were ripping him.
Yeah. Look what Kent did from 97 to 04. The Giants had winning records, and they were one of the top 5 baseball teams from 97 to 03. During that 6-7 year span, they were one of the top 5 teams. They were always winning. They were in playoffs. They were in the World Series in 02. Should have had that, obviously. But there's a lot of moves. Same with Al Rosen in 87. Made a ton of moves. This year, this is why I'm saying the experience with it. It seems like they did a great deal for Tyler Rogers. It's like, I don't know what they had on the Mets, but they got a great deal for a rental. And it's like, they were hell-bent on getting rid of Duvall no matter what. And at the deadline, they said, we can't get anything for him. We'll take this deal. And they gave him to New York. They basically got a catcher that's been a good hitter in the minors. We'll see. He's a catcher, third baseman. That might be the only player in the deal. But Duvall, younger, more control, less money than Rogers, and yet they couldn't get much for him. They got a reliever for Yaz, which is fine. But you got to make some bold trades. And I think this team needs completely remade. I really do. I am not excited about this team for the next 3 years. And you know what? It's going to be pretty much the same team because you got Chapman, you got Adames, you got Lee, and you got Devers. Almost half of your starters are locked in to contracts. The only guy I'm really excited about of that 4 is Devers. And if you don't get another player that's of star quality to bat behind him, then they are going to go nowhere with Devers because teams are just going to not give in to Devers when there's runners on scoring position. They'll pitch to him with bases empty. As you saw, he got a solo home run tonight. Friday night, he got a solo homer, a 2-run. They're not going to give it. When they were down 4-0, he got a home run the other day, right? Against Washington. Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
But
They're
then
not going to.
They walked him in the 8th inning.
Yeah,
Put,
they're just not going
run up
to
there.
look. Especially if a right-hander's on the mound, you got Willie Adames. Are you kidding?
Chapman.
The guy hits 230, and then Chapman after that. Come on, these guys are it's kind of like Bob Uecker used to say. I mean, I can hear hey Chapman, go grab a bat and kill this rally. I mean, these guys strike out constantly. Find me some contact hitters. If you want to keep Fat Chapman, fine. Bat him second or at the bottom of the order, like 7th. Get him out of the 4, 5, middle of the order when runners are actually on in front of him. Put him up, at the top or the bottom of the order. He doesn't belong in the middle. And you look at their lineup, you look at their history. Adames has a lot of 230 in him, 240 tops. I'm more excited about Adames personally in the sense because they don't have a shortstop. You had a third baseman, and now you got to play him out of position at second, where he's doing a really good job defensively. But you're paying $25 million for a third baseman that cannot. He has 39 RBIs. 39 RBIs. I mean, I think he has not been good. I think you can go up there with a pig and a pickle and hit more than Chapman.
On that note, fellas, I got to jump because
Yes.
I got Niners in the morning. So
right.
I gotta jump, but good to see all you guys.
Yeah, you too, Larry. Check out Larry's show in the morning. Niners. If you want Niners content, there it is. The Krug Show. Check it out. The best Niner content, all of YouTube. He's got it covered. He's at every game. Niners, tough news today, Larry. They lose the young receiver, their 4th round pick, for a month with a high ankle sprain. What a tough break this team is getting at wide receiver. What's going on?
I was going to say, you guys, the 3 of you are lucky that you're not hurt just by being around me after me being around the Niners. I mean, it's like, who you think the Giants have problems? I mean, it's like the Niners can't do the team picture without losing 2 people. I mean,
now we're doing Robbie Chosen is going to be a possibility.
I mean, seriously. I mean, guys are falling in the lunchroom, on the way to get a snack. It's like it's ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's I still think it's going to be a good year for the 49ers, but they're having a rough patch right now. Look, they've had like a bunch of weird injuries in that nobody's done for the year. It's not like they've lost anybody for the year. They haven't even lost anybody for half the year. They just have lost everybody for like a couple weeks. A week here, 2 weeks there, a month there. So it's like they'll be fine, but they're going to have to somehow get through these next 2 preseason games and figure out a way to field a roster early on. But it's a pretty cake schedule. I would imagine they're going to be decent. But guys,
what's your prediction? 10, 11?
I'm going to say it's 12? A 10-win team for sure. It's a 10-win team.
Okay.
I would say they could easily be a 12-win team, but I'm going to say I'll say 10-7. 10-7.
Okay, that's about what I got him with this schedule. Yeah. All right, Larry. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it. We'll catch up with you soon and see you on the next 49er postgame.
Good to see you guys. Peace. Right, take care.
See you, Larry.
All right, there we go, Larry Krueger. We're going to end it tonight ourselves, guys. We've been going almost 2 hours.
Another opinion.
Yeah. You're talking about Larry. I thought you were going to say something that you had.
No, it's good to have Larry on. Just a different opinion because, it's always us. But I did want to bring up one thing about Aaron's at 10:45. He brought up a great comment.
Dom Smith needs an extension. I'm hearing people in the guy. I would sign Dom Smith. He's a guy that I would probably sign like 2 years, 10 million, like total. $5 million a year. He's the type of guy that's not. Let him kind of be that guy. I wish he could play some outfield, but he can DH and he can play first base, and he's a good defensive replacement. What time? 9:45 or 10:45? What was the comment by who?
Aaron lost.
Aaron lost at 10. You mean bake that dough?
Yep.
I think
Giants-
he's a good enough defender where the Giants could say, "Hey, Dom, this offseason, practice your outfield." You know, if he'd be better than Brandon Belt out there.
Yeah, he could play one of the corners. Probably left field would be a decent spot for him. Giants, is this one here the international pull
Yeah.
from Liverpool?
I think that's the problem because I criticize it all the time. The
Yeah.
international pool consists of Livermore, Danville, and Pleasanton. Stop getting these guys in the Bay Area. It's not like the Bay Area has superstars. Florida, Southern California, Texas. I mean, I don't know too many players that have from the Bay Area that have been superstars. We got to start thinking. Cut this crap. The guy lives close. Like I said with Melvin last night, he was a shitty player, lousy stats. Look him up as a catcher. He wasn't good. And, he's only been around for 12 years because he did really good early with the A's. He was horrible with San Diego, and he's horrible with us. Get a guy that's a winner. Got to do something because it's just getting old.
Yeah, they need to expand their horizons. They need to look at Pittsburgh and Antioch and Manteca and Palo Alto.
Exactly.
There we go. Yeah, let's not forget Manteca. Yeah. Oh gosh, I used to go to those water slides and they had them up there.
Me too.
Yeah, that was a blast up there in Manteca. Yeah, we used to get 6-7 guys and we just stop in the middle and then they just pile up. It's like I'm surprised they didn't tear knees out back then. Yeah, so we'll see how this thing goes, guys. But tomorrow, Giants take on the Padres again. It's Robbie Ray going for the Giants. Who's going for the Padres tomorrow? Let's take a look. Tuesday night, Padres. It is, Nestor Cortez, but he's a lefty.
Lefty, and it's his third start off the injured. So
Oh,
he's going to
geez. Hey, you notice how everybody's throwing a lefty at the Giants now? They're like, oh, hey.
We're horrible against lefties.
Well, he's got a 7 ERA, so maybe they could get.
But he's a lefty.
At least one or two.
The guy from
runs.
Washington had an ERA of like 12 coming in, and he almost no hit us.
Yeah, it's like kryptonite.
Yeah,
Nestor Kryptonite. Anybody with anybody that is a lefty has got a middle name of Kryptonite for the Giants. It's like, and what do they? You know what Melvin ought to do just for the heck of it, just to do something different? Just bat all your lefties. Go 8 lefties in the lineup. Make sure it's 8 lefties.
It doesn't make sense why they're so bad. They have all these right-handed hitters that career-wise are good against lefties. So
I don't understand.
It makes no sense.
I don't understand.
Makes no sense.
You got Adames and Chapman you think would come through. Ramos, there's 3. Schmidt's been good against lefties. That's 4. You got I don't know.
Not Bailey. Devers is fine against lefties.
Why do they have? We got Gilbert and Lee in the outfield. Who's our right-handed hitting outfielder? Just Ramos? That's it? Is there any other outfielder in the lineup? Is there only 4 outfielders now?
Yeah, they have. Hold on.
They have Lee, Gilbert, Ramos,
McRae is lefty,
and McRae. They got 3 lefties. What are we doing?
Well, Dan, I don't know if you know, but 75% of the major league is right-handed, so we're prepared for that.
And why is
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Matos come up tomorrow, because
has he been over the 15 day? How long does he have to stay? 10 days down there?
I guess they can't, because it's not an injury. So I don't think he has been down there long enough.
Jeez.
Who else do they have? Don't they have another right-handed out?
Luciano down there.
Maybe Luciano.
Hey, hit the like button. We had a good crew today, guys. Hit the like button.
Yeah, hit that like button. Let's get the music going.
To have Larry on, we got to take advantage of it.
Let's get that music going and get your final comments in, and we'll read those comments. Got to find the music here, and we'll get out of here.
All he does is strike out.
Yeah, why is Gilbert playing over McRae? McRae's got a 57% K rate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senior. Appreciate it. So, yeah, I would tomorrow night, lefty, are we going to see Kinzer or whatever his name is, or are we going to see Bailey? I think we're going to see Bailey because it's a day game
on Wednesday.
Well, maybe not. Let's see. Maybe you do see Kinzer tomorrow. I would
probably
not
Kinzer.
I wouldn't bat Bailey right-handed. Ever again. My goodness.
And he works well. Kinzer's worked well with Ray.
Yeah.
But the Giants better hope that Ray pitches a, three
shutout.
Pitch a shutout. Because if you give up one run, it might not be enough.
Yeah. Awesome. Hunter Bishop, there's a name. That guy's still down there with the Giants.
I've been hearing about him for 8 years.
64 Ks and 138 at bats is unbelievable. Yeah, that really is. That's close to 50%. My gosh. That's unreal. That's unreal.
That's why you call him McKay.
McKay, yeah, exactly. All right, guys, thank you for being here. Make sure you do hit that like button on the way out, guys. We had a lot of people in here tonight, over 300, and we got to hit that like button. It does help the algorithms and pushes this show out further. So thank you so much for being part of NorCal Sports Network, and we will catch you tomorrow night about 9:30ish, right in there. Probably won't be as quick of a game as tonight's game, with both pitchers moving fast.
I think the show tonight was longer than the game.
Pretty close. More action, though, and more entertainment here on NorCal Sports Network. For sure. Bo Davidson's our only hope. Yeah, he's now in the top 100, 88th ranked in Baseball America. Bo Davidson came out just today, I believe, or yesterday. Thanks, Christopher. Really appreciate it. Hey, guys, we really do appreciate you watching the show, and we will see you guys tomorrow night after the Giants-Padres game. Have a wonderful night and a fantastic Tuesday. Take care.